We are live. It is October 5th today. Just gonna try to work through some of my priorities. I like to talk out loud with my priorities now so I can keep myself accountable, keep myself disciplined. Let's see if I can check if or not I am live on IG. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat or in the YouTube live. So talking through some of the priorities. So yesterday we officially completed closing on our deal. Today I am working on finding a few title attorneys to do a quick claim deed. So a quick claim deed is when you transfer the title of a property, especially if you close it under a personal name to an LLC. Now, this is not legal advice. Please consult with your own attorneys. But we wanted to transition the property's deed into the LLC name that my partners and I have created. And usually one resource that I've been recommended to go towards is usdeeds.com. Generally it costs about like $350 to $400 after everything is all said and done to quick claim deed the property. So you guys ever have any questions, just DM me on Instagram about what that process is like. Happy to answer any questions. Today, I am scheduling a few things. One, we attended a meeting in the morning, just talking through with the builders and the contractors in our Kakana, Wisconsin real estate development deal. So that was good just to kind of see the team and listen in and be a fly on the wall while the people who are really in charge of the operations of the development are kind of talking out loud and talking about other priorities and talking about what else do we need to get in terms of supporting documents, underwriters, et cetera. So really, really good experience. And I feel incredibly blessed to just be part of those conversations because I learned so much. There are so many different problems that come up every single day. So I absolutely love that. So I am also doing a Grow 1% Together challenge. If you're following me on Instagram, I hope you guys join me in this challenge. It's my attempt on how to get better, how to get 1% better every single day. So my three priorities are right now about relationships, which is spending time with my daughter, my wife, or just friends and family. I think it's going to be so important. That's one thing I work on every single day. And the other priority is content, professional development. So I committed to doing 100 minutes a day. And if there is a day that I don't do 100 minutes, I'm going to make up for it during the week. So at the minimum, 700 minutes of content work related work a week. So tomorrow I'm hoping to film some more content. If you guys have any topics or questions that you would like me to cover in the content, please let me know. If I don't know the answers to your question, I will try to find a guest that will also give you the question. So I figured I would show something here. And let's see if I can share my screen. I'm going to do this. Kind of evolving a little bit. Let's see if I can share my screen. Sure. Fire screen. Boom. Share. Now, I will share with you a few things. Sorry, this is the infinite loop. Now, what I have done is I've been tracking. In the very beginning, I used to track every single day how many followers and how many subscribers I was doing. And what I tracked gave me a lot of focus. I remember when I started social media about a year ago, in October, I started first tracking at the end of October. So I was up to 500 followers after starting a brand new Instagram account from scratch. And then this is me after a month of my podcast, asking friends and family to subscribe to it. And you can see that it was pretty slow. As I got into January, we are up to 300 subscribers. We're up to 500 subscribers, and finally this year in July, I was like, all right, I don't need to track this every day because I think I'm focused on the wrong things. It's not just the followers, not the subscribers. So I just kept focusing on the work. Yeah, this is great, but it's not the main focus anymore. So now I started just tracking on a monthly basis, and it was a great celebration to reach 1,000 subscribers in August of this year after almost a year of setting up the podcast. That was really, really cool, to say the least. And now we're growing at about 100 followers a month, 100 subscribers a month on YouTube. So I really, really appreciate all the support from everyone that supported the podcast. It really means the world to me. Like I said before, I do this for the thank yous. It's it's a really great experience to be able to provide value and answer questions that you all care about. That's why I really do this. So nowadays, I'm going live because I just want to share with you guys the priorities for today. Tomorrow is my daughter's birthday. She is turning 2 tomorrow. So I'm not going to go live tomorrow. I'm just going to try to focus on her as much as possible and play around with her and just going to enjoy a lot of great time with the family. So this is going to be really fun. We met some people in the greater Boston area where I grew up, and they know a ton of folks that are also interested in real estate development. So it's just organic conversation like that. And I probably have Gabriel and Ivan on our podcast at some point to talk about their developments in the greater Boston area. I've always told them, like, hey, I want to bring on the person who built the apartment building that I lived in, that I grew up in, and bring them onto the podcast. That's going to be really fun, and I can't wait for that. So next week, we're going to have Greg Curleen from Horizon Trust on the podcast. He's going to be talking about all things retirement accounts. He's going to be talking about self-directed IRAs, because guess what? The number one thing I hear from people is, like, hey, I can't afford this. I can't invest in the property. Well, there's a ton of funds out there, especially with people that want to take a little bit more control in their retirement account on what they actually invest in. And sometimes if you are in your typical 401k, W-2 job, you will only see options to invest in funds that has been picked out and designated by your HR department or by the custodian that is overseeing all of your retirement funds. And those are all cool. I mean, if you're not an active investor, those aren't necessarily a bad thing. They're professionally managed, and this is obviously not investment advice. But sometimes folks want to have a little bit more option, a little bit more autonomy, and this is going to be a really, really great podcast for us to talk about, because self-directed IRA, you can invest in a lot of things. I heard Greg on another podcast talk about how people invest in cattle with the self-directed IRAs. Really, really interesting asset class. You can invest in businesses if you're a passive investor. So tons of nuggets and gems that we're really hoping to take out of that conversation with Greg. And at the same time, we're going to go through and give out as much information as possible. So if you have guys any questions, please make sure you DM me any questions that I can potentially bring up during the podcast. Tomorrow, we'll be releasing a podcast with JD Singh. He is going to tell us a lot about Project Homekey, which is a state subsidized initiative in the state of California, and it's really put in place to address homelessness and provide subsidized housing through turning either older hotels or multifamily properties into affordable housing. Really, really cool just to kind of talk about these different incentives. And every state, every city, every county is doing something so different. This is what makes affordable housing so cool. There's so many different initiatives about this stuff. So we're really excited, and that has been my priority today. Was getting out some of our offering memorandums out in the from the old days, getting out there just so people can see, like, hey, some background on Hope Housing. Again, this is not a solicitation for any investments. Simply just talking about what am I doing, and yeah, doing 100 minutes of content today. I'm gonna try to come up with some more categories, doing some podcast planning. We had some really good conversation with people that might be able to help our podcast get to the next level. So I'm super pumped about that. Today, I am participating virtually in the Sub 2 Mastermind. So the Sub 2 Mastermind was a program I joined in January of this past year. And that's where I really committed to becoming an underwriter, becoming a capital raiser for affordable housing. And it took a lot for me to come to a realization, like, hey, where are my skill sets and how do I figure out, as my mentor, Alvin Hope Johnson, has told me, you got to find the right socket to plug yourself in. You don't necessarily fit in everywhere. And you had to find out which team will your skills be complementary in, and really making yourself as valuable and as indispensable to someone on that team and to that team as a whole, to make sure that the team succeeds as a whole. So I absolutely love everything that's going on in my life right now. I feel a lot of positive momentum. I feel great. And I just feel incredibly blessed. It's really, really cool. So what am I doing next? Today, I am trying to finish up all my podcast stuff so that I can release one episode tomorrow and then review all of the secondary episode stuff for release on Monday or Tuesday. So this is going to be good just for me to plan out our content or our content plan for the next month or so, which I showed on the live just a few days ago too, on what it actually takes and what it entails to plan out your content over a week, 2 weeks, and a month. Because right now I'm stretching myself. My stretch goal is to triple my output this year, but I definitely will, at the minimum, double my output on social media just so I can provide much more valuable and educational content that will potentially allow you to succeed in the real estate investing world, particularly around affordable housing. So I'm really, really pumped about that. I think I have absolute clarity. I'm in the Sub 2 Mastermind for the next few days, and I am always so glad that we are able to participate virtually. Sometimes these mastermind programs are things you go once or you go twice a year, and then you are out after a year or after one meeting. And it's really cool to be part of a community that continues to contribute to one another. And that was the inspiration for why I want to start the affordable housing and real estate investing community. So if you guys want to be part of the community, please make sure you join our free Facebook group, Affordable Housing and Real Estate Investing. And if you guys don't want to look for it, you want to just DM me your email on Instagram, happy to send you the invite link to our free Facebook group. And I want to make the Facebook group as engaging as possible, as helpful as possible. So if you have any feedback on how do we make it better, I'm probably going to have our VA Pia start pulling together a lot of updated 2024 rents, payment standards updates so that you can have a consolidated source or area to look for potential markets that you might be interested in investing in. Just like how I put up St. Louis the other day and try to determine what a buy box might look like. There is a good significant rent increase from 2023 to 2024 that might even outpace how much prices have gone up in these markets. So if you're looking for an opportunity, don't say I didn't tell you so. And obviously do your own due diligence. This is not investing advice. I'm simply telling you the thoughts that are going through my head. One other thought that came up, I read this book. It was called The Gap in the Gain. And I bring it up because it was just recently brought up in the mastermind right before I jumped onto this. The gap in the gain, the premise is that when you get to a certain point, you keep looking out. You keep looking to the next goal. You keep thinking about more. You keep extending the goalposts more. And that could be a big problem if you forget to ever look backwards and look back and count back, like how far have you come since then? And that's how you really live in the game, meaning you are focused on and taking the time to appreciate all the relationships, all the people that you met that support your goals. And sometimes it's easy to forget about that when you're an entrepreneur and you're constantly trying to do better, do more, make more money, do more things. There's never enough time in the day. But I think tomorrow is going to be a really great day for me just to reflect and also just spend time with my daughter for her birthday. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, so you guys have any comments, let me know. Definitely check out the book, The Gap in the Gain. I don't get any money from recommending it, but it was definitely one of the really, really great books. And I listened to it on Audible, so that was even more impactful to hear it from the authors' voices and from their perspectives, and some of the little bonuses that they added in there were really cool. So cool. That's it for my live today. Just want to kind of talk a lot about my priorities. And don't forget to subscribe to our youtube.com at Kent_HE. We're on Apple Podcasts, affordable housing and real estate investing. So this is going to be fun. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Talk to you guys soon.